Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's session, Nevada's Growing Clean Tech Industry. We're very happy to have you here joining us today from wherever you are. My name is Christina Galan from ATA Insights, hosting for the RedMat events. And we are here to talk a little bit about the different opportunities that this state has to offer in the clean tech industry. We have three amazing speakers today with us, which we're going to introduce. Later on, there will be a couple of presentations from each of them, and then we will move on to questions from you and also some pre-submitted ones. This session will be recorded, so if you want to log in later on, you also can. And you also have the chat. If you want to introduce yourself, let us know where you're from. I know we have a lot of international people coming. Why are you interested in this state? What are you working on? We want to know everything about you. And you also have the Q&A section if you have any specific questions you would like to ask our speakers. So without further ado, I am going to move on to introduce our speakers for today. I'm going to let them a couple of minutes so if they can introduce themselves, let us know a little bit their background and what are going to be their points of view in this webinar. So I'm going to start with State Senator Pat Spearman. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you all?
We're good. We're good. Ready to hear and listen all about what the state can offer. So can you let us know a little bit about your background in energy?
Yeah, I'm a State Senator Pat Spearman. I represent Senate District 1, which is in North Las Vegas. And I got interested in energy probably about 10, maybe 12 years ago. I have a doctorate degree in business administration. My focus for my research was on global energy policy. And it just struck me that we're talking about more, when we talk about energy, it's more than just flipping on a light switch. Energy now is really about currency. It's about how you situate yourself, not just individually, but geopolitically, how we situate ourselves in relationship to everyone else around the world. So, and I've been pretty active here in Nevada with relation to getting a lot of our energy bills passed. And now I'm moving to get a couple of hydrogen and fuel cells and storage bills passed in this legislative session. And the biggest hurdle that we have to get over is education. So I think I answered the question, did I?
You absolutely did. Fingers crossed with that bill. I know there's tons of things that we can do in the hydrogen space. So thank you so much for being here. Moving on, we have Roland Stephen from SRI. Good morning. Well, a little bit good afternoon for you already. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what SRI is doing in the energy arena?
Good morning and good afternoon to everyone. My name is Roland Stephen. I'm the Executive Director of the Center for Innovation Strategy and Policy at SRI International. It's an advanced research institute based in Menlo Park. And we have done a decade's worth of work, probably, in Nevada on economic development strategies, both at the regional level, but also in particular statewide. And one thing has become abundantly clear and is highlighted in the work that was just finished with the Governor's Office of Economic Development in 2022 is that Nevada is ground zero for the energy transition. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today and the great opportunities that provides for the state. Thank you.
Sounds awesome. Can't wait to hear it. And last but certainly not least, we have Mark Warden with us with NV Energy. Hi, Mark. Good morning. Can you tell us a little bit about your role in NV Energy and a little bit the background?
Absolutely. So I'm a Director of Renewables Development at NV Energy. Prior to this position, I was an attorney in-house at NV Energy, where I worked for about 10 years supporting the renewables energy team, among others, and came over a few years ago to lead our efforts to develop renewable energy and storage projects. Prior to that, I got into the energy industry in energy trading and origination as an attorney, and so have been in the energy space for quite a while and focusing on renewables for about the past 10 years. I'm going to share with you today some of the thoughts that and some of the initiatives that we're taking and technologies we're looking at as we try to move forward with renewable energy in Nevada.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, and this sounds very exciting. I can't wait to hear your presentations and let us know all about the different opportunities that you're seeing and how the state is growing in this industry. So I'm going to give the floor to Pat Spearman. So Pat, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
So I guess I want to start with, you sent some questions, and so I want to frame what I'm getting ready to say around those questions. Is that okay? Okay.
So you prefer to see first the questions and then?
Well, I can do either one. I just thought sometimes I get so excited about talking about energy. You know, talking about energy is like saying to a 9-year-old, "Let's go to Disneyland." So and I start talking, and then it's kind of hard for me to stop.
You know what? That sounds great. Well, yeah, we can do that. Let's hear the rest of the presentations, and then we can move on to questions.
Okay.
All right.
So I think one of the things that you asked was, where do I see it in the next 5 years? Here's the thing. One of the things that I've learned about energy within the last probably 5 to 8 years, and energy is changing not just annually, but the energy space is changing literally every nanosecond, because there's something else that's coming that is building on something that's already here. And so as a legislator, one of the things that would really be helpful is if various parts of the energy industry, to include hydrogen, would spend a little bit more time with legislators, helping us to understand. I can say, I asked someone a couple of days ago who went to California, and they're up by Cupertino, and I said, "Did you see all the hydrogen fuel cell stations up there?" And they're like, "No," and they looked at me like I just cursed at them, and I'm like, I mean, because I know that they're there. But most people have when they think about hydrogen, they think about, and it's going to date me, but they think about the 1976 Pinto. And if you're traveling in my time zone, you kind of know what that is. And they think about the Hindenburg, and they think all those sorts of things. So we really need a lot more attention paid to us about what the industry looks like. The second thing is, and I had several bills in 2017, that I worked with people, worked with solar and worked with NV Energy on to try to get us into the 20th century when it came to renewable energy. So now everybody's on board with electrification, but that's all they want to do. And I continue to say, if we focus only on one aspect of this industry, we will wind up the same place we were historically in 1973. When the only thing we could rely on was OPEC. And once OPEC basically said, go pound sand, and, we saw gasoline prices went from 25 cents a gallon all the way up to 40 cents a gallon, and people are saying, "Oh, please bring that back." And so trying to get people to understand it's not just one particular thing, but it's a lot of things. And, I heard Roland say that Nevada is ground zero, and Nevada is ground zero for a couple of reasons. Number one, Nevada has a lot of vast, not just land, public lands, but Nevada has a lot of private land that is still available. In Nevada, we have solar, we have geothermal, we can have hydrogen, and we have Air Liquide that's down south. We have hydrogen, we can have wind, we have everything that people talk about when it comes to renewable energy. The only thing that we really need to do is we have to focus on it from a comprehensive standpoint and not just go after one thing, but we have to be willing to examine every aspect of the renewable energy industry and understand how each of those works together. So I hope that answers your question, and I hope I did what you asked me to do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pat, for opening up this space and talking a little bit about the view of what you see the future, because there's tons of things that are available. And there's, as you said, Nevada has a lot of resources there. It's just, and it's the moment, and the time is now to start working on them. So definitely. Well, thank you very much. So we're going to move on to Roland. Roland, I know you have a presentation, so if you want to start putting on your slides.
Fine. I will not. There will be no death by slides here, but I'll just flip through a few quickly. We have just completed a comprehensive economic development strategy for the state. My colleague here, recognized on the slide, Christy McFarland, led that project. And I'm not going to go through chapter and verse, but I'm going to pull out the energy piece. And just to echo the senator's remarks, and this has always been my view, by the way, of the energy transition, it's all of the above, right? So, and then what do you do to make it happen in a strategic way and across the waterfront? So try and get to that today. SRI is an independent, mission-driven nonprofit. We're based in Menlo Park. My office happens to be in Washington. I put a little thing in here. Xerox PARC, one of the most famous research labs in the world, has now merged with SRI. So we're stronger than you. The world you live in is the world we created when it comes to technology. So statewide plan, emphasize three things, and they're intertwined. And I think that that's very important to think about. First of all, realizing Nevada's electric future, innovative future, and connected future. And let's talk, we're going to talk about the electric future in particular. It's not, by electrification isn't just, oh, we have to build more transmission lines. Yes, we do, and you'll probably hear from Mark about that. But many of the other pieces up and down the supply chain that need to be put in place. But Nevada is in a great situation. Nevada can play a key role in securing energy independence. It has information technology and advanced manufacturing industries, needs workforce for that. It has unique access to natural resources. The senator's remarks about both the public and private lands in Nevada are very important. And it has proximity to markets. So particularly, for example, if it comes to hydrogen, Nevada is close to California, and there are going to be very significant developments in hydrogen in California, right, as the senator said, already underway. And then finally, and this is super important, Redwood Materials is an example of closing the loop for the clean energy economy. So Redwood Materials, very, very significant investment in Northern Nevada in recycling. So the clean tech industries use new materials, different materials. Some of them are trace minerals. Some of them are sold by, we buy from other countries, which aren't necessarily always our friends. So having resources at hand and then recycling those resources is critical. And Nevada is uniquely situated to do that. So let's see if I can make this change. So we had 5 target industries in the plan. Natural resources and technologies, key one for energy, but also the energy opportunities overlap with information technology and with advanced manufacturing. Here's a fine slide, and this is, I can't claim credit for it. It's from the Governor's Office of Economic Development, but it really captures Nevada as the lithium capital and the things that go with it, right? So exploration, extraction, and processing. And then the intermediate stages, chemical manufacturing cathodes and anodes. You already building the battery cells and the battery packs in Northern Nevada. Applying them to vehicles, building, as it happens, Tesla's is closed for the lithium battery supply chain in Nevada. That's quite a trick. There are some other issues beyond this, wanted to highlight this. What are the companies, right, in the supply chain that you would need to recruit that can help fuel battery production or the intermediate processing required for minerals? Provide policy support for development, testing, commercialization of solar and other clean energy-related innovations mentioned by the senator. Solar, of course, obviously, is all over Nevada. Nevada has great opportunities in geothermal, which I'm one of those, and I think there are many now who see geothermal as an underappreciated and underdeveloped opportunity for energy. Nevada's got that in the north of the state, but then to really solve that, to make the most of it, we need utility connectivity and support the build out of then people who will use this clean energy. So that's the electric vehicle infrastructure for charging and for managing those kinds of vehicles. So that's what I'm going to talk about here. I'm going to stop my share and turn it over to my colleague here, Mark Warden.
Thank you, Roland, for giving us that outlook. Mark, I see you are already working your slides. In the meantime, just as a reminder, if you have any questions, I see there's a question already there. If you have any questions, let us know. Please add them to the Q&A box.
All right. I see a spinny wheel, so give me 1 second. Hopefully this is going to load.
No worries. Take your time.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I see it.
Great.
There you go.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I'm going to give you a quick background about our company, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the technology solutions that we're looking at as a company. So NV Energy serves about 1.4 million customers in Nevada, both in northern and southern Nevada, and about 50 million tourists annually. So we're a little bit unique in that the size of our discrete customer base is relatively small compared to our peak load of 9 gigawatts. We have a non-renewable capacity to generate energy of about 5 gigawatts and a renewable capacity that is commercial already of about 2.5 gigawatts with another 2.5 gigawatts of pre-commercial projects. That's either PPAs, power purchase agreements, bill transfer agreements, or projects that we're developing ourselves. Unlike most of the United States, the West, including Nevada, is not part of an organized market. So we have no regional transmission organization or independent system operator of which we're a part, which further complicates our transition to a renewable generating economy. However, we do participate in the California Independent System Operator Energy Imbalance Market, and we also are required by Senate Bill 448 to join a regional transmission organization by 2030. So I've thrown up here a couple of graphics that you can see what different organizations think is the breakdown. Now, it's not there. Everybody has a little bit different view of what the breakdown is of the greenhouse gas emissions by sector of our economy. But what I want you to focus on, and I don't know if you can hopefully see my sector, right? You can see electricity in each one of these accounts for about a quarter of the challenge. So a significant opportunity. You know, we focus a lot on transportation, and that is important. But as you can see, it's about half of what the impact is of the electricity sector. So if we can make a difference in the way we generate and use electricity, we can really make a difference in our greenhouse gas emissions footprint. As a kid, I loved the nutcrackers. I don't know if you guys grew up with nutcrackers in your home, but I grew up around the holidays, Christmas time. There would be a nutcracker and a bowl of nuts, which at the time I thought was very frustrating. Why couldn't you just provide me the nuts shelled? But this is a great example, I think. What we're confronting now with our energy transition, it's a hard nut to crack. As a little kid, just even trying to get my hands around that nutcracker was a challenge. So the big challenge that we have from an energy perspective is increased renewables. We have to comply with renewable portfolio standards, and most states, I think, have one today. We're seeing a reduction and not a replacement of our fossil generation fleet throughout the country, including in Nevada. We're seeing more and more customers coming to us who are demanding renewable products. And all of this is further challenged by the fact that most renewables that we typically are able to develop in today's environment, such as solar or wind, are intermittent. So they don't always generate electricity. We only get electricity when the sun shines, and we only get electricity when the wind blows. In Nevada, we have a 50% renewable requirement by 2030 with a zero carbon goal by 2050. And again, because we are not part of an organized market, we can't generate excess energy, sell it into the market, and then when we need energy, buy it from the market. In fact, in recent years, we're seeing that the West is increasingly constrained when it comes to being able to purchase energy from the market. So what's our technology future look like? I don't know that I have all the answers, certainly don't. We're working hard to try to find solutions at NV Energy, but I've just thought about a few of the questions that we might ask ourselves. One, what will projects look like going forward? When I first started doing solar projects, they were just solar. We just did solar panels, that was it. Then we realized that we had this intermittency issue and that we needed energy in the evening hours when the sun wasn't shining. And so then we started looking at pairing our solar with storage. Lithium-ion battery storage was the solution that we began to incorporate. And then we just had a smaller ratio of storage to solar. And then we thought about, well, maybe we should have a higher ratio of storage to our solar project. So then we started pairing it 1-to-1. And so again, what is the right combination of renewables paired with storage? And now with the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act, we have the opportunity to do standalone storage, whereas previously you were disadvantaged because of the tax structure under the tax code if you didn't pair your storage with renewables. So a lot of opportunities now, a lot of interesting possibilities under this new legislation. What's pricing and then origin, where these products are coming from, making sure we don't violate the Forced Labor Protection Act or the anti-countervailing dumping initiative by the Department of Commerce. So lots of challenges in even being able to source the equipment and materials we need to develop these projects. So let's get into, and so again, I don't have all the solutions, and would be happy if anybody wants to talk about these in more detail, or if you have questions or thoughts about it during the question and answer period. But I'm going to talk today about a couple of potential solutions, geothermal and storage. And Christine, if I go too long, just shut me up, okay? So the first one is geothermal. Geothermal is a fantastic resource. It is green, it's dispatchable, it can be base load. When the sun doesn't shine, you still have geothermal. When the wind doesn't blow, you still have geothermal. Traditionally, you needed a wet resource where you could extract this hot liquid and then through a heat exchange process and an organic Rankine cycle production facility on the surface, create electricity. We're exploring a new technology that's being developed by a company called Ever. And this technology is different from traditional geothermal in the sense that it does not need a wet resource. So basically what it does is they drill a well as a closed loop system, and then they create these radiators, which then circulate their liquid, and then it brings it back to the surface. So rather than extracting something from the earth. It's actually injecting something into the earth. This technology, we hope, will be very promising. It goes very deep and can be put in a lot of different locations where you traditionally couldn't put traditional geothermal because there wasn't a wet resource. So NB Energy has proposed approval of this project, a 20 megawatt project in Northern Nevada from the Public Utility Commission, and we're currently pending receipt of approval for that. There's other technologies out there. There's a company called Fervo that does a fracking type of process. I think there's some other ones out there, but as Roland indicated, geothermal is a massive opportunity, and we just have to get the technology right, I think, to create some really wonderful opportunities for clean, renewable, baseload, dispatchable energy for our system. Let's talk a bit about energy storage technology types. So, you have the electromechanical, which is batteries such as lithium ion, lead acid, etc. We have chemical processes, we have electrical processes, and then we have thermal processes. And I want to just, I know I'm probably short on time, so I want to just run through a couple of these quickly. This is your typical battery energy storage system. This is one of our projects that Tesla built for us. Here you can see a little bit more of the specific inside each one of these containers is many, many battery cells. There are challenges with this is that it's not as efficient over long duration. So maybe 2 to 4 hours is the sweet spot for this. And in addition, they're very expensive, as we've seen lithium prices go up. So we're subject to the volatility of that metals market right now. So one of the disadvantages of these products. There's also gravity storage. One type of gravity storage is a rail-based storage. And there's a company, so basically, well, I'm gonna skip this slide and go right to the video, see if my video will play. All right, there you go, looks like it is playing. And this is a technology that's being manufactured right here in Southern Nevada. So in the interest of time, I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. But basically, as you can see, the cars come down, and when they go up, they are charging, and when they go down, they're releasing their energy. So that's one of the technologies that we're currently looking at. I don't know if you could hear me, but as I said, they actually manufacture a part of those components right here in Southern Nevada, and they have a project that they're currently building in Pahrump, Nevada, which is just to the northwest of Las Vegas, and we're hopeful that that project will prove out their technology, and we'll have an opportunity to potentially do a project with them. Another technology that we're looking at that might solve some of these intermittency problems is pumped storage hydro. Pumped storage hydro is not a new technology. It's been around for a long time. It's basically a hydroelectric dam, but rather than being reliant upon the flows or lack of flow of a river or a dammed lake, such as Lake Mead, where we're, with the drought, we're seeing the challenges associated with that. This, what we're looking at is a closed loop system where the reservoir that is above and the reservoir that are below are solely used for the purposes of generating electricity. This is a quick schematic of what a typical pump storage hydro project might look like. You have your reservoir on the upper side. It comes down through some penstocks through a generator that, when the water is flowing downward, creates electricity, flows into the lower reservoir. And then when you need to store the energy, you reverse the process, you pump the water from the lower reservoir back up into the upper reservoir. And then the potential energy stored in this water is then released again as it comes down the penstocks and flows through the generator to create electricity and take it out to the grid. I want to share with you another video. This is a project that we actually have. It's public that we are working with R+ to try to develop this project, but this gives you a good idea of how this functions. Let's see if it works. So in the interest of time, I'm going to stop right there with that. But you can see that there's a great opportunity for lots of different technologies. I've just shared a couple with you that we're looking at. We're also looking at other technologies and trying to find the best solution that we can to provide a future with renewable energy that will benefit our customers in Nevada for many years to come. I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mark, for that walkthrough through all the different technologies. And I would never have imagined how to put a nutcracker in a presentation of energy, but you did it perfectly. So thank you for that example. Well, thank you so much to all our speakers for that introduction. So we're going to move on to the Q&A section, and we're going to start with hydrogen, because I'm seeing a couple of questions about hydrogen. So Senator Pat, this is for you. Since, as you said, there's a bill that's coming out, Bill 451, which enacts provisions to promote the development and use of clean hydrogen in the state. Can you tell us a little bit your vision of what you see, where we're at?
Sure, and I put in the chat box Senate Bill 334, which was the first bill that I introduced last month, and I can't emphasize this too much. We really need people in the renewable energy from all sectors to spend more time with legislators, helping us to understand these new innovations, because it doesn't do any good to, it's frustrating for me to know about it, but then I bring a bill and 80% of my colleagues don't know anything about it. And so we got bogged down in 334 with the definition of clean hydrogen or green hydrogen. And there were some people who were vehemently opposed to putting that in our RPS. And it's really just based upon the lack of knowledge. And I'm not saying that in a pejorative way. There are things that some of my other colleagues know about that I don't have a clue, and I have to depend on them. But energy is my thing, and I understand, and I don't. But if I am the only one in a legislative body, or maybe two of us, and I don't know, I think I'm the only one in this body that has any familiarity at all with hydrogen, and I'm termed out. And so that means in 2025, when the legislature comes back, unless someone is elected that knows something about hydrogen, you're going to be starting from scratch. And so please, please, please spend some time with us explaining to us all of the sectors. And so 334, we changed it to go to green hydrogen. And for me, we're just talking about hydrogen. I'm just trying to get it into the RPS and get it to a place where people will respect and accept it. We do not have, someone asked, I think it was Mark asked a question about in the chat, asked a question of, do we have any RA hubs? We do not as of yet. And that's what 451 is designed to do. It's designed to expand hydrogen, the conversation about hydrogen, but also the implementation and exploitation, if you will, of hydrogen as one of our resources. I'm hoping that with 451, and it'll be very difficult to get past, because there are people who right now are lining up against it, and most of the objections are based upon what people have been told, not what people know, or what people have been told and not what people can prove, if that makes sense to you. And so that bill will be heard in Growth and Infrastructure tomorrow. And I would invite anyone who wants to help provide information as to how we might get it across the finish line. I'm open to that. What it will do is not only offer an opportunity for us to expand hydrogen, but I want to make hydrogen part of the mainstream, like we did solar. When it comes to geothermal, we have so much geothermal here in the north. And I was saying to a colleague the other day, because in Nevada, we don't have a state income tax. And so our revenue stream is limited. But, my dad used to say to us all the time, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you save. And if we could spend some time and resources on developing our geothermal opportunities here in the north, and we powered every state building on geothermal, we would probably be able to infuse or save, and as part of our general budget, we'd probably be able to save, I'm gonna go out on a limb, probably about $3 billion every biennium, because we don't have a base load right now in Nevada, and the natural gas that we get is brought in. And so helping people to understand that we've got to explore and exploit the opportunities for every aspect of renewable energy. I want to make sure that 451 sets us on a path so that when the legislature convenes in 2025, that people are saying, oh yeah, I understand, and yes, we need to do more. Right now, it's a matter of no, we're not going to do anything with hydrogen. That's wrong, and that's bad, and it's bad for the environment, and it's and all of that. And so, please, 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 I'm begging you all in the industry, spend some time with us and teach us.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
That answers the question.
It definitely does, and thank you also for giving us that heads up and seeing the situation that, of course, it will improve. There's still a long way to go, but I'm sure that it's just a matter of time. And anyone who has, this is a call for action. If anyone, I'm sure that has information that's to provide and an insight, you're very welcome to get in touch with us and share
And
those
Christine,
views.
can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
I'm
of
sorry, I
course.
don't want to dominate,
No,
but
not
here's
at all.
the other thing, because it's not just about renewable energy. The other thing that 451 does is it encourages workforce development. And the workforce development is a part of reaching out not just to our post-secondary, but I'm trying to make sure that we start preparing people for these industries in the 3rd grade. And so the curriculum that we have in our educational institutions, both public and private, has got to comport to the changing landscape, if you will, because, we heard Mark talk about, transmission. Well, the transmission is probably about another 5 or 6 additional jobs, additional workforce requirements. And I always say this, for every one job that you create in the energy space, you're probably talking about another 10 to 12, because you're always going to have somebody who understands the do-flatchy when the thingamajig goes bad and the whatchamacallit not working anymore, right? And so all of these are people that have to know how to do that thing. And so every part of the supply chain of the renewable energy industry has got to be taught, and it can be learned. San Diego State has a master's degree in, I want to say it's energy management. And so those are the kinds of things that I see it's going to happen all around the country. And I believe that in Nevada, we are specifically poised. In the north, there could be a study for geothermal. In the south, we're talking about solar. So all of this plays a part. And in Nevada, the thing that will hamper us the most in terms of acting on our opportunity to seize the time and seize the opportunity, the thing that will hamper us the most is the fact that we only meet every other year. And so by the time we do sine die this time on the 5th of June, we won't be back again until the first Monday in February in 2025. And those of you who are listening and are participating, you know that that's the equivalent of 100 years. In terms of how fast things grow and develop. And so it's going to be very important for us here in Nevada to decide that we want to come into the 20th century and start meeting annually, because these things aren't going to wait for us. And so workforce development, making sure that we get to 50% by 2030, making sure that we understand all of the opportunities we have in the energy space, and then not just explore, but exploit those opportunities. And time is not waiting for us. And if we lose this opportunity, somebody else will come in and fill the gap. And then we'll be right back in Nevada, depending upon gaming. Nothing wrong with gaming, but I'm saying, it's cyclical. So energy is that industry that can really become part of our mainstream for general budget funding.
Thank you, Senator Pat, for that, for the eye opener. I have to say, I know you have to leave, that you have another commitment. So thank you so much for being here today, and we will see you in Las Vegas in July to talk more. Good luck with the bill, and yeah, and there's much more to come. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. And anyone look at 451, and if anyone has any seeds of wisdom that I can use in presenting and answering questions tomorrow, or if you want to chime in as an expert, I certainly would appreciate it. It's going to be it'll be a heavy lift, but it'll be a lift that's worth it.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we haven't finished yet. We have 2 more amazing speakers, and we have questions for them as well. Roland, I'm going to go ahead with you, and thank you for that presentation. And one of the questions that I thought interesting to ask you was that as you were talking about resources, is the state and local government ready to meet the needs of this diverse set of businesses that's happening right now?
Yes. So and that the policy side and just the public management side is very important. State of Nevada, and you heard the senator talk about it has by design, and the people of Nevada in their wisdom, like it that way. They meet once every 2 years in the legislature, and by design, there's no state income tax, and so the state has limited capacity. And indeed, because the state's been growing, there's been inflation, it has tens of thousands of unfilled jobs in the state government. So in other words, having response, and the same again to a degree at the local level. So having the capacity to respond to the needs, right, of the energy transition, of the new firms that are going to come in, the firms that need permits, the firms that need, any kind of contact with state and local government. Nevada faces some challenges in that area. There's no doubt about that. But also, the senator made a nice point at the end there about renewable energy. These are good jobs at good wages. So these are what's called the skilled technical workforce, the people who maintain and fix and service solar fields, the people who would maintain and help build and then maintain complex transmission system, right? Transmission lines, the people who are going to build and maintain state-of-the-art geothermal facilities. Of course, there are engineers and there are high-level people leading that, but there are a lot of great mid-skilled jobs, technical jobs created by that, which are highly competitive with jobs in the gaming sector and which are not cyclical in the way in which the gaming sector is. So that's part of the great opportunity for Nevada. Indeed, the state in its wisdom has created a sovereign wealth fund. There's no money in it. And the idea was that perhaps severance on natural resources extracted from mining, severance taxes as they're called, could be used to fill that. That is a controversial suggestion in Nevada, but I'm a big supporter of that. But there could be, you could get once you have a diverse portfolio of renewable energy with storage to overcome the intermittency, and that the video of the trains going up the hill and a gravity storage system, that's already been help for that has already been approved by the Governor's Office of Economic Development. That's going to be a really interesting project and a Nevada project. So, but once all that is in place, you could, renewable energy will not be like oil, right, which fluctuates in price and fluctuates in price according to the behaviors of other people. It's going to be subject to constant decline in price over time. And you could take a tariff off that and use that to also fill a sovereign wealth fund. So I'll stop there. I'm sure Mark has some useful things to say too.
Perfect. Mark, is there anything that you would like to add about this question? Because I have others for you.
Can you repeat the question to make sure I get it right?
Sure. So the question was that if the state and local government were ready to meet the needs of the diverse set of businesses that's happening right now in the energy, specifically, industry.
Right. So I think one of the great things about our state and local government is that they listen. As Senator Spearman pointed out, she was asking for help, and I already texted our director or VP of Government Affairs. I'm sure he's aware. But they listen to the needs. They listen to us as we talk to them about the future and the needs we're going to have as we try to diversify the Nevada economy. One of the key things that every business needs, obviously, is electricity. So when they come to the state, they need electricity. And as I mentioned, increasingly, they want that electricity to be green. And so we work closely with our customers and with our state and local representatives to try to meet those needs for our customers.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much for those statements. Mark, another question for you, talking more about the technological side. From all the technologies that you've been talking about in your presentation, what technologies do you see have the potential to move forward in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's a bit of a challenge, right? I mean, because as with any new technology, one is not sure how it's going to play out until it's actually put into the market and tested. To use the iPhone as an analogy, for example, I remember when the iPhone first came out, and I'd been using some sort of device that purported to be a smart device that had a keyboard and had a stylus, and you could supposedly do your calendar and email and all these other features, but it just never really worked, right? And I'm sure those folks thought, hey, we've just, cracked the nut, so to speak, on this technology. And then the iPhone came out, and I told my boss, I said, you need to get rid of your flip phone and get an iPhone, because it's going to be revolutionary, because it's going to be easy to use. I could already tell that. And as we all know, it was revolutionary. The challenge with the renewable energy sector, I think, is it's much more difficult for us to prognosticate what is going to be that technology that cracks the nut, right? I shared with you pump storage hydro. There's a lot of potential there, particularly in Nevada with our mountains. The challenge is permitting. The challenge is environmental impacts. The challenge for Nevada, especially, is water. Right, we're in the middle of a drought, notwithstanding our recent wet winter. So I'm also very optimistic about geothermal. I'm really hopeful that the Ever technology and other geotechnologies will prove out can be scalable and base load, because that solves for the intermittency issue related with solar and wind. And then I also kind of hold out hope that there's some new technology, that some bright individual out there is working on something that's going to be very successful, whether that's compact, or, not using the right term, small scale nuclear, or if that is some other type of long duration storage. The future will tell.
Thank you, Mark, for sharing those views. We have tons of questions, but I know that we have to make a hard stop right now. So I wanted to thank you so much, Roland and Mark, for your time and these presentations and these insights. I can see that there's tons of stuff yet to be done in Nevada, but there's a lot of potential and a lot of opportunities there. So thank you so much for your time and being with us today. And thank you everyone else for joining, for your questions. We will be sending them to to our speakers, so they also have them available. And also, this session is being recorded, and we will share it with everyone in a couple of days. And last but not least, we wanted to thank everyone for joining today, this session, and we hope to see everyone in our RedMat event. If it's storage or if it's hydrogen, you are most welcome to come. I know that Mark will be there, and also Senator Pat Spearman and Roland. Of course, you are also invited to join us, and we hope to see everyone very, very soon. So thank you so much for coming.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Been a pleasure. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day.